Success strategies for exhibiting at expos and trade fairs with John Gemmell and Dragan Malasek.
The girls have actually gone through a hell of a lot of effort to make sure that you guys get value for your money. The hardest component of anything is the dollars that go out, as well as the amount of time that is dedicated on the before the day, during the day, sorting out what has happened during the actual expo, and then being able to prioritize your leads, figure out what you're going to do. So I'm going to basically frame it in a very simple way from what to expect and what before you get into it. John will run through the center of what he does very, very well, is basically the conversion and how to engage. At the back end of it, I will finish it off with how to actually, what do you do with those leads? Now, some of you guys with independent distributors, the leads come in because there may be 3 or 4 of you that pay for the booth, so you've got to divvy up the leads. How do you actually manage to actually get money out of those leads? Expectation. How many of you guys actually, when you've committed and you're actually going to go into the expo, have actually sat down and saying, okay, what's my focus? What am I actually going to get out of this? Now, let's ignore the real simple components about leads and conversion and money. Let's ignore that. And the reason I say that is because you guys don't do this because it's the money. You do it right, money will come. A lot of the times in a lot of networking, people chase the money and they forget to do the things properly at this end, and the money never comes. So what do they end up doing? Chasing the money, constantly chasing the money. So it is a matter of trying to set that expectations to be able to do. So things that you should do. When you've actually decided that you want to participate in an expo, you basically need to understand what do you actually want to get out of it. Is it an exercise? So how many of you guys actually sell products, actual products at the expo, or you're considering going to sell products at the expo? So your strategy is going to be different from somebody that is service driven or business driven. Okay? Your understanding needs to be twofold. I want to sell something. If I don't sell something, what can I downsell? How can I actually get a name to eventually sell something? How many of you guys believe that your biggest market that you're going to get your ROI, is it actually other exhibitors, or is it actually the people that come through the front door that pay to visit you? 30% of everything that you're going to generate is actually from your fellow exhibitors. And the reason I say that is because they're actually already there, they're trying to build their business, and business building works on collaboration, cross-selling, getting things in place to be able to work. So that is a stable diet of the people around you to be able to bring them in. 8:30 you're in, you're up and finished and completed your setup by 9 o'clock. You've got half an hour to see what's around, see who's there, do your connections, and basically come back in. Why? As you have your lunch break and bits and pieces, assuming you've got enough people to be able to rotate and man the actual expo. That's the first thing that you need to do. You need to be able to set that in place and be able to understand and introduce yourself. Purpose of the expo, correct. It is to be able to join with the other exhibitors, to be able to see what you can work together or what they may need. Second is trying to engage clients that actually come through the door. Then they become a prospect, then you've got them engaged. And then the upselling and the selling or the engagement comes in a second. But until they do pass, because what you're going to get is you're going to have the viewers coming through, and if you give them something, they're going to go, I'm out of here. So that's what they are. Now understand, not everybody you can engage and sell. Why? They may be there for a particular purpose, or they may be there for a particular, to see what it's all about. You'll find the guys that come through the front, first thing they'll normally do is do a pan. They'll actually do the run around the whole expo before they come back and actually start engaging what they're there for. But don't be offended and upset if they come through and if you're at the front entrance point that they will zip through. They're actually panning and setting their day or their 2-3 hours that they're going to spend with you. So don't get upset. It is just human nature.
Who's in a service business here? And product business? What's the comparison point between these two? What's in common? People. The single thing that you are doing with an expo is that. You are not selling a product or a service. You're there to connect to people. That's what an expo is about. It's what networking is about. It's what business is about. Because without those things, there's no sales. There's no business. Doesn't matter if it's product business or a service business. What do you do with them?
Find out what they want.
Okay. Relationship.
Have fun.
So let's ask another question. When you go to an expo and you're not exhibiting there, what are you doing?
Exploring.
Exploring. Exploring what?
Possibilities, what's out there.
Okay. Expo experts. I bet you didn't know that you were an expert, did you? You actually are. You're an expert already. Because if you answer those simple questions of if I went to an expo and somebody tried to do the used car sale job with me, what would I do? I'd tell them to stuff off. Not interested. So if you can't answer the question for yourself, when I go to an expo, what do I engage with? Why do I want to talk to you? Why do I have anything to do with you?
A feeling, there might be a product or a service that aligns with something you're looking for, or...
Aligns with something you're looking for. Where?
Oh, high five to the guy. No worries.
Because he actually is the expert.
No.
Because it's the why. And if you don't answer that question, then you're not really at the expo.
As we came up to ask, we were actually curious to find out what they were doing.
Run the gauntlet.
Okay, so it was literally like this. Ah, so what do you do? So what does your business do?
We do mortgages.
These are exhibitors.
Exhibitors.
No?
Oh shit, you know.
It's really tricky that though. Like I know when they come up to talk to you that you should engage them. I get that totally. But it's also as a people going through an expo, like you go past all the stores and you've got everyone's eyes looking at you. Are they going to come to my store? Are they going to come to my store? So you walk along with blinkers on, like don't harass me, don't harass me. So when you're a store holder, you don't want to be one of those come to me. So that you want to be nonchalant to a certain extent.
But they were actually switched off. They were actually not at the venue. They were too busy doing that. It was almost like it wasn't John's business. It was actually an employee of mine that is storing up. And how many of you guys have employees? So how well do they treat your business? Does she still treat it better than you do?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Never will.
So here you are at the expo, you're sitting here, you've got your desk, you're sitting behind it, and there's all them people out there. Why the hell are they going to talk to you? It's how it feels.
So is there an invisible line that you can't go outside of your own little
I
box?
think for some people there is. Yeah, a lot of people. You know, and if we're to speak about this in considered company, because I know a lot of you folks do in this room, this person's very often, when they're sitting at this desk, not even in their own body. They're often out here observing themselves freaking out about being at the bloody expo. Because we get caught up in our own head about stuff. We're going to walk over and meet and greet each other.
Oh, okay.
Right. Hi, my name's John. Really nice to see you. It's great. And again. Hi. So how is it that we do this in a social sense? Like when we're meeting people, how do you do that? What actually happens in that interaction?
Show interest.
You do. You show interest.
And don't scare it.
Give them space.
Okay. Yeah, and here's a funny game for you. Okay. So this thing called personal space. It's a great idea. Because out here we can see that I'm quite outside Marianne's comfort zone. She's very comfortable staying there. It's a little bit trepidation now. I've already done this other stuff. But you know, in general sense, this is a comfortable distance. As I'm getting closer, see, we're starting to hit the zone here because there's some change. Marianne's facial has changed. She's telling us something already. As we're moving in closer, right there is about where it feels, doesn't it? It kind of feels that's a comfortable distance. So for this person, I'm not going to start talking to her here. I'm not going to start talking to her here. I'm going to judge that distance and look for a point of interaction.
What cues do you look for though, John? Just facial expression?
Colour, eye movements. What she's doing with her eyes, what she's doing with her face as she's interacting with you.
Acquaintances are going to be, yeah, how you going? Okay? Family, friends, it's a 1 metre triangle, circle, in the sense that you can feel the energy, okay? With a point of, oh, sugar, this bad guy, or, 12 feet. It's actually 12 feet is where they say is your comfort zone that you can see the peripheral vision around, and I can see who's around if he's got friends.
So that's it from a security perspective. That's what you're looking for. Now, at an expo, you're interacting with people all the time. So this journey of connecting with people starts out of a distance. So, thank you. You're there, you've just got on the bus, just put your Smart Rider card on, and get on the bus, losing the presenter guy, sitting there doing some work, and I notice you get on. And there's another person sitting there that kind of doesn't look that kosher. And he's checking out when he gets on the bus. I look up from my paperwork and go, and don't look at you again, but just get up and move myself a little bit across on the seat. What effect does that have upon you? The people on buses that get up and adjust their position, even if they stand up and sit straight back down, because they have adjusted something, thank you, in relation to you, then it's already started the non-verbal conversation. So, at expos, who in this room knows what their customer looks like? Is your customer a person that's managed to scrape enough money together off the street and is walking into the expo with a bottle of wine tucked in and look like they haven't had a shower for 6 weeks? But who else is not your customer?
They're not actually showing any interest at all in what you're doing, or even to give you a hint that they may be interested in what you have to.
They are not making any adjustment in relation to you. And they've gone from either at one end of the deal, not making an adjustment at all, to the other end of poker face. They're not your customer either, because they've already told you before you even start, no. So who is your customer? So what are the adjustments? How do you know when you see somebody at a party that this is a person you connect with?
The body language.
They convey to you in some way, shape or form that it's okay to approach me.
Might be eye contact, might be a smile.
Might be, exactly. At a party, If you're at the party and you dress like this, what is it that you want to convey to suspect to open the field sufficiently for people that in that box they connect to you so they can connect with these?
A uniform saying I am approachable.
Why the hell not?
Yeah.
If I'm approachable, I don't bite. What makes it okay for this person to approach you? Or more specifically, what makes it okay for this person to even think about approaching you?
It has to be something about trust.
So it is totally about trust. So what conveys trust to you? A whole raft of how do I establish trust with this person? Because that's what it's all about.
Sorry, Mr. Bishop.
Who in this room is quite happy to interact with people that they don't trust? There are criteria that enable people to walk across the bridge of trust to people that they don't trust and make a connection. Who at the expo is going to do that?
All of us know.
But
I said all of us know.
some people are just go-getters. They'll break their roads. That's what they do. Who's happy to give money to people that they don't trust? Who's happy to, and here's the other end of the loop, who's happy to receive money off people that they don't trust? But they're giving you money.
Usually it's a disaster.
Even if somebody gives you something of value, if you don't trust them, you are not going to accept it. Who's never ever in their entire life broken a rule? Who's never broken a rule in relation to interaction with other human beings? That you will not give or receive value unless trust in this human equation is in the mix. So everything you do. People think Abbey Expo is about establishing and maintaining trust. It is not about selling a service. It is not about selling a product. Do you know how many referrals I got from a single person? 47.
Right.
Point of contact at the expo, within the 12 weeks following that, there were 47 referrals from that one person. Well, the referrals started after I treated them once. Each of those people invested somewhere between $600 and $700, 3,000 and something per person. The expo and built a relationship with one person. You're bothered by the quality of the relationship that's built. Yes.
Do you know what the average for a single person to refer as a rule of thumb across any industry? 6. So the guys that are in distributors, you hear the aspect, you've got 6 on your list. That's where it comes from.
So the whole thing is, who cares about your service? Who cares about your product? You're building relationships, and that is all you're doing. If they want to buy stuff, they will. If they're in the market to buy. If they don't want to buy right there, and then they're not going to. They might be there to have an experience. They might be there just to have a look around. They might be with their friend. They might be there in the market to deal with a specific problem. Can you identify the ones that have got the problem that your service matches? Do you know what problems your service or product is fixing? Because they're the ones that will buy now. And if your product or service isn't clearly defined to be fixing 1, 2, 3 specific problems, then you aren't going to get an immediate purchase. In this place, you could talk to this guy about getting investment for your company. Why? Because I look like I'm supposed to be doing that. But the filters have already gone. So, what do you dress in when you go to the expo? You dress in the clothing of a person that does that and does that. So they go, oh, that's what it is. Get it. So what we did at the clinic was took the clinic to the expo and experience as we're providing a service. within legal compliance. Couldn't do acupuncture or Chinese herbs at the expo, but what we could do is sit down and connect with people. Give them a feel of what it's like. How do you establish trust? You educate the person on how to interact with you and your business. Because that's all you're doing with the expo. You just educate them. Establishing trust, establishing connection with people that are connecting with you, being open, being presentable for what people expect from that, or what people expect from that. How does an intuitive feel address?
A good pair of slacks on,
Yep.
a well-ironed shirt.
Yep. Reciprocity. I will give you something, and you can give me something in return. It doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be anything tangible. It could be, my God, you've got sparkly eyes, woman. I don't want to sell you anything, but my God. Remember that. Next time she comes around, it's great to see you. Because who just walks around an expo once?
Absolutely not.
So you've got these people that are cold, ones that are warm, ones that are hot. Whatever you do, the single objective is to get them hot. These guys, just completely ignore them. They're not your target market. They never, ever will be. They don't like you. They are not your friend. You could say anything that's going to annoy that person, piss them off, or anything. Inappropriate stuff, looking at them inappropriately, saying the wrong thing, overselling something, pushing, pulling. Well, just a neutral space and a gentle. I acknowledge your presence. That person very often will walk up and walk around and then have to stop and have a look at them. Because you've now converted them from warm into hot. It's that simple, gentle, building the inertia. I'm Tony Robbins, and let's say you've all come along to my event tonight. Do you know how many people actually are here? That are here as potential new clients? 12. Do you know what the other 6 are there to do? Convert you. Where that stocks the audience.
What was that last time? Sorry?
It stocks the audience with converts. And they are paid to convert you. How could you not go and see Tony? He's fabulous! He's the full throttle. He's everything. He's brilliant. They are there to guide you through the journey. So, who at your expos when you go there is to guide your ones into there. Recruit that person now. Start training them now. Really warm, friendly people. Not cold, hard. They're going to be approachable. They're going to be personable. Because if they're doing all of the selling, well, they need to see you. So whenever I went to the expo, I had 3 people working with me. One chick out the front, others just wandering around.
I'm going to draw something. So if we are assuming that this is where the stalls are, okay? And this is where you are, okay? Doesn't matter how it's set up, depends on how you want to present it. You've got one person here, this is John, okay? This is B1 and this is B2, okay? Now, if they're in the centre of the aisles and they're in place, who do you think they are with? You as the audience. Somebody coming to you and saying, oh, this is a pretty good expo today. What do you find is quite interesting? It's easier to talk to somebody who's actually there than, I don't want to talk to him.
And how many of your friends do you invite along to the expo? It's not about just coming along, it's about maybe coming along to help me.
Now, if you do it as a collective, as a community, and you're here, and you've got the different colours. Once this person's finished with that, guess who they can pass it on to? Or guess who they can pass it on to?
Oh, you should have a chat to such and such. I can't help you, but geez, I know they can. So I said, when I was running these expos, 3 girls. We'd arrived and I'd say, okay, the expos didn't warm up until about 10:30. I'd just say, bugger off, go and count. So they would go around and walk and walk and walk and go, what are you doing? I'm Natalia from Accurate. Oh, what the hell's that? Oh, we don't know yet. We weight loss. And what do you do? Well, ask lots of questions, get lots of commission. So then, whenever a person turns up at that person's store and wants to talk about weight loss, they go, oh, you should go and see Accurate. They do that. We on average collected 12 other people in the expo referring people to the booth. Because we worked the room deliberately and purposefully. And I paid the girls the whole weekend. Gave them a kickback for every person that they converted. Do you think businesses don't do this? If that's organic and important to you and your service and your product,
Very
absolutely
important to my
go with
values.
it. Totally. Because you need to be consistent. Because if you're not, people don't trust you.
Yep.
And you're dead right. There was a percentage of people that we pissed off. Go and look at the privacy act. Go and look at the Department of Commerce and go and look at the ACCC. And those 3 places will tell you what you can and can't do in Australian sales.
Understanding people, understanding you, understanding your product, understanding your core values, how you're going to work, and then finding the niche that works for you. That's the bloody hard part of the equation, and unfortunately nobody can help you except you. John actually touched on transaction. So I call this, basically I do a lot of online marketing and strategic marketing, and what I do is I actually change it around and I call it guerrilla marketing for face-to-face. So taking the same process and same thought on how everything works, but then actually doing it when there's people in front of you. Because it's slightly different, because online they'll go out bugger off. When you're in front of you, it's like, money! Okay, so it is understanding how to do it. How would you set it up? Assuming this is the traffic zones. How do you set them up? What do you do, what do you don't do?
Don't have a table at the front.
Okay, I'll actually start showing you colours. Okay, so people here, okay. I'll just put some information in place and then we'll go through it. Okay, what else? What else? You talked about flyers, you talked about information, about feeling warm and fuzzy. So, banner at the back, or saying your ID, who you are. What else? What's the feeling you actually want to get them to go? It's like an elevator pitch, right? You got 30 seconds to make it happen so they can remember you. This is no different. My presentation does a certain image. How I talk is a certain image. How they see that is another one. Okay? So, John, for example, he actually had a table there. And he had in there, so what he did is he almost set that up like a physical practice. And guess where the clients were sitting? Guess where he had machines here? It was actually a mini practice. The experience was what he was giving him. The experience of when I was sitting in a chatting room was actually what I got. It was the warm, it was the fuzzy, it was the actual interaction that I could trust him. So he achieved what he wanted to do. But what you want to do is, how you set this up has to be, what experience are you actually going to give them? What information you want around. You don't want eye candy everywhere where you're sitting in front of somebody, you're talking, you're going to do this. And do not put the now, I'm going to use the word prospect, not suspect, because they're coming to the den. Okay? Do not put it here that they're looking this way. Because what are they going to be doing? If I'm sitting here and this is the laneway and I'm trying to talk to them, what are you going to be doing? Guess what attention you don't have? place them where you got fixtures to what? Keep enough information to tell them about what you're doing. Keep enough, if you do not have flyers or you don't have brochures or anything like that for your practice, go to IKEA and get some posters that actually are either health and wellness or basically quotes or something, or the image that you want to do from that feeling that you're trying to generate. Don't have bare. Unfortunately, for the last one, I went through and I was one of the ones that actually does a lot of back and forth and just understanding what people are doing. And a lot of the exhibitors were not actually using the real estate. You guys are paying for the real estate, okay? Use the bloody thing. Okay? Chairs, televisions, having things flicking through. Testimonials, if you've got testimonials, great. But you want to be able to give them a presence that's what you are about. You know? Now, once you're in that space, it's actually you. You have to come across as you, not as a salesperson. You're not selling to sell. You're actually there giving them the experience. You know how we talked about the hot, the warm, and the cold? Well, here, you've converted the warm into hot. They're really in a position that they're going to buy, they're going to give you some information, they're going to do something. You're actually engaging with it. Do not overcrowd. You're overcrowded. How many times have you gone into and I'm hopeless for my study. Everything is on top of me. You know, I almost take my pad on my iPad and I actually go for a walk down the park to actually get some creative juices happening. So understand, when you go into a crowded room, what do you feel? Now, best feedback for anything that you do like that is you. Once you're happy, then you get the next victim volunteer from around your trust circle to get their feedback. The nuts and bolts and bits and pieces, which you can and can't do, the girls will, I presume you have a manual of what is requirements and criteria and that sort of thing. Let me dig a little bit deeper. Most of the people that you're actually wanting to sell to or do anything to don't really give a damn about you or your company name. You want to get their attention on what you're actually trying to sell. What problem are you actually fixing? If you can put that in the banner, then I would say yes. But if you're doing it as a branding exercise for micro businesses, don't waste your money. Oh, sorry if there's any sign writers here. We have an exchange of things, okay? Online, an exchange is you give me something, I give you something, okay? And if it's a purchase, you give me money and I'll give you something. If it's information, well, I'll give you information, you give me an email. So, let's put it this way. If I am going to collect, now we're talking about, they're at the point of communicating, you have some rapport, you have some interaction, you want a name and a number. Just in case they're not going to buy right now, you have a rapport, you have a trust to a certain degree, you want to engage. What have you given away? What have you enticed them? How have you got them in to give you that magic thing called the phone number so you can actually get to first date? Let's call it goodies.
Competition.
Okay, competition. Giving away what?
Well, we gave away a free session.
So you're giving away a free session, but you were giving the free session, at that, right?
No, we could do it privately.
Okay, and then it doesn't have to cost you anything. It's not a bad idea. And I mean that in a different way. You're putting it from a different angle, so it's giveaways, okay? The other ones that I get when I do these sort of workshop is vouchers. So I need to get 15% off to this one. Have a free session, as Bernice said. Buy one, get one free. For the guys that distribute products. Give us your details, and when you come and see me, or you can pick up your product or free sample or whatever it is next time you see me. Okay? Product giveaway, I'm not a big fan because it costs you money. You've got to buy it somewhere, you've got to give away. Okay? So there's ways of actually playing with it. What I would suggest for the guys that are giving away products is you organise a free session, as Bernice has done, and get them to sit in front, do rapport, do touch, do building of relationships, but using the products. Don't give products away. Bowl at the back, minties. Anything to get through, anything to engage in. Because what do you want them to do? How many of you guys have gone to a restaurant or a cafe and you've gone, and classic example around here, you're going around and you sort of go, oh, I don't know what I feel like eating, but there's a few cafes around, and you sort of go, oh, that's dead. I don't want to go there.
Ah, yes.
Buy a friend, get my drift. Which is no different with what John was talking about.
Yep.
Okay, you're building interest to be able to do it. You know, we've got for this month, we've got a free session of giveaway valued X. Now, clients like this thing called value dollar. Just because you're doing it and you're sacrificing your time for it is irrelevant. What if they came to see you and they were giving you a monetary reward? What the hell is that going to be worth? How many of you guys actually do actual raffles? My background in my previous life is IT. Okay, I spent way too much time in the corporate world of the stupidity with IT and vendors. Do you know how they actually get the interaction? When there's IT, I mean, how many of you guys have been to an IT event that is dull, boring, more suits and no humour or anything else? Is like, okay? So you know how they interact with things? They have what they call a bowl for collecting actual business cards. Now, your market's slightly different. They're not going to have business cards in reality, okay? But go and get a physical pad where they can fill their details in and put it in, and say to them, okay, morning, afternoon. So you do a say at 11:30, close to lunch, and then you do a 2, 3, 4 o'clock towards evening. Even if you go and buy a couple of movie vouchers and you give them away as a raffle, you must be around my boot when the drawing happens for you to collect it, otherwise bugger off. It's about creative thinking and bringing the attention back to you. And as they come through, and every time somebody goes past, and this is where you were saying, I think, you don't like the interaction. Well, every time somebody goes past, if you've seen them too, how many of you guys have seen, you know, the same person 4, 5, 6 times, and by about the 8th time, they're feeling embarrassed. Okay? So it gives you a pleasure. Guys, an hour, the draw's going to be coming out. This is what we're giving away. Do you know what the purpose of any advertising?
Generate interest.
You quiet. A bit deeper than that. Sorry?
To get a database?
Bingo. You should be spending your money to get a name to be able to market forever. If you don't, you spend money for the rest of your life paying for freaking Google and YouTube. If you have stuff like that, and if you got to a point with all the exhibitors and you can basically say, okay, who's giving stuff away, and you coordinate your times, you can increase the energy level within the expo. And at the front, you can actually go through a main speaker saying exactly what the big boys do. Draw for X, Y, and Z at booth X in the next 20 minutes. People are going out, they might have forgotten, they've gone, oh, I can't be bothered going back in. You've just been toasted, you've got to put them back through the door.
Yeah.
Which means you give these guys a second chance.